Hi guys, welcome back to L003, and today we're talking about fortune teller targets. It's supposed to be a crystal ball, by the way. So, there's many, remote viewing, for instance, is one of many tools within the bag of tricks of a psychic that works within multiple modalities. So sometimes you see a psychic like looking at a crystal ball or just giving a reading or whatever. You can do kind of something similar with remote viewing. And as a viewer and as a client, there's pluses and there's minuses about it. And that's what I'm going to talk about. So in any kind of psychic work, um, my primary modus operandi basically is, well, it's two things. It's like a twofold thing. It's self-discovery and helping the collective. I'll throw Courtney a bone here, and he talks about how like psychic function is kind of like the Force in Star Wars, and it is kind of like that. I mean, it works kind of like that, and you could do a lot of positive things with it. So that's kind of what, and I try to not be over abundantly self-serving with it. I think it's kind of a waste. But that goes also both ways with the client as well. So let me give you an example. So I have a client that comes to me and they want to know. Here's actually a good example. I did a target for a friend. And it's set up just like same as remote viewing. You don't know what it is. It's just a target number, and they basically wanted to know if they should go ahead and retire and go do their book deal and go into writing books and stuff like that. But they had a very good career path what they were on, right? So basically, I was tasked to kind of go into the future, and I can't remember what the exact tasking was. Basically, go in the future and see how that all plays out. So I did go to the future. They did make this trip to the publishers. They did. That's kind of what happened. Now, as far as from the client's perspective, and from my perspective at the time, it seems like it's helpful to them. So that's good. I mean, that's kind of why you want to do things. So you do other targets. So you do like, but here's another example. All right. So I had a client who is actually a friend of mine who, again, was trying to pick out what he was going to be doing in the future down the road. But I think there was some hidden agenda in what he was kind of. He was going to another country, back to another country, where a woman that he was having this relationship with that kind of went sour, um, and he had me poke into that. And I'm remote viewing, and I have all this sexual stuff going on, and she's with multiple men and all kinds of craziness. And I submit the data back, and at the time, it's like, we don't know what to do with it. He didn't know what to make of it, and then it turns out he goes back there, and turns out she's been with all these other men doing all kinds of bad things. So quite often, it's not always good news. And so as a remote viewer and as the client, there's not much you could do about it either way. Okay, so that's in a lot of situations. I'm not saying that's in every situation, but in a lot of situations, it can be disappointing for the viewer and the client, prospective client, at some points, depending on what the target is. Now, let me give you an example. Say a guy's going to court, and there's gonna be two outcomes here. You know, let's say he's whatever. Let's say it's a guilty, non-guilty thing, and this person pays me to find out what the outcome is going to be, to give them some kind of peace of mind. So, say I go up there, and however they have me task it, maybe their kind of demeanor after the case or whatever would give me some indication of how it went. So, say the guy's happy, well, it's a good indication that he won the case, and now he has the peace of mind of just relaxing, waiting for the outcome, and great. He may be guilty and be going to 30 years and that may be the remote viewing outcome. Okay. And the problem is, no matter what happens, this guy's going to court, and whatever happens. So now at this point, he knows in this point in time that he's going to jail. And I just have to wait day after day, after week, after week, after month, just to know the inevitable outcome. What was gained here? Again, if it was a good outcome, it gives you some kind of peace of mind, but if it's not, it's not. Now, what's frustrating to me as a remote viewer, because I'll, do targets for other remote viewers, they'll do targets for me. When you're doing projects, kind of reciprocate. Now, for me personally, I don't like going into my future. I don't really want, because of reasons like this, I really don't want to know what's going to happen. And here's another example. Go to the last day you're going to die. We'll go to the day of my death. Okay. One day you're going to walk outside your house, you're going to lock your door, you're going to turn around, you're going to get hit by a bus. Well, when? I don't know exactly, but that's how you're going to die. What are you going to do? What the hell are you going to do? You're going to live in a box for the rest of your life? Lock your doors, board them up? I mean, pull an Algier and on what was it, the coronavirus, and hide away, move away, and no, you got to live your life. So, what value does that really? What's that giving you? Okay, so what'll happen a lot. I could tell you just a number of times when this went kind of bonkers. Okay. There's viewers out there that has me, they're working on several projects, okay, in remote viewing. One is, let's say, gambling. One is like, treasure hunting. I mean, something is teaching, right? And it says other stuff. They got other projects in the works, and they want to know what is going to be most beneficial to them as a trajectory for their life. And they send me off to figure that out. Okay, and this is what I'm dealing with. And what'll often happen is, you need to get really good at this. Your subconscious has, it really knows the back end of all this, it seems. It seems like. So when I'm doing this, I'll start to feel frustrated. Like my aesthetic impact of the target will be frustration. Not because it's boring, not because I'm not wanting to help this person. It's because, for one, now to do something like this every once in a while is one thing, but if you do this kind of thing a lot, you send viewers on stuff, it's very self-serving in my mind. Okay, so I have feelings about stuff like this that it's like, it's hard to kind of change when they're so ingrained in you. So what happens, I'll start to feel kind of like this feels like a self-serving target. The data come out kind of strange, and this is individual, okay? You may be a type of person who you do a ton of these, it doesn't bother you at all. But what'll happen is I may, I may give you like, I may remote view a little bit of each of these. I may go down one of these paths entirely. I may ignore the other two. Um, but there is a biasness right off the bat in the fact that I don't like this target. Okay. Especially in like a reciprocal favor scenario, like if you're not paying me directly for this, I've got better things to do than be your personal fortune teller. Okay. So if it's like a group effort, like we're trying to collectively win a race or a game or something, an ARV or something, that's different because it's not just about you. Now, don't get me wrong. I've had targets very rarely, sparingly about myself. But sending people like remote viewers off on tangents like this to find out stuff in my life feels very self-serving and just a waste of time. So as a remote viewer, you may have certain feelings one way or the other about these. And again, there's no it's my suspicion that there's reasons why remote viewing works the way it works. There seems to be a kind of a level of control where it's just not a free all access pass, guys. Okay. You can glean stuff in the future. You can get a leg up. You can hit pockets here and there and there, but you're never going to be able to like, just like live your life. You have to every time these intersections, these points in life when you run these doors, when you have these choices, it's going to be up to you to work that out. A psychic's not going to, just the system is not programmed that way to say like, okay, you're going to pay some guy to tell you what's this optimum trajectory for your life. It just doesn't work that way. Like I said, every once in a while you hit a pocket or something like that. So again, primarily we're dealing with an information-based network, in my opinion, system. Okay, and in this system, everything affects everything. Okay, so obviously we're here in life. This is like our timeline. Okay, and there's these skewed kind of timeline jet offs type of thing. Obviously we're here in this base reality doing stuff, and we could tap into the network that binds it all, this consciousness grid, this whatever you want to call it, the matrix, whatever. And we're all kind of running this base reality. And again, there's a restrictive kind of nature to it in some ways. It's just you're not going to just come into this body and just rule the world and like because you're psychic. But other things are more forgiving. Like again, like crypto's more forgiving in psychic work than like other games, and I think that's probably because it's not tied to anything in the physical. It's not backed by anything. It's not backed by greenbacks, not backed by gold. I mean, it's not backed by gold, so it's not. There's no physicality to it, so that's probably why it's more forgiving. That's why I feel like it's probably going to eventually dump. But anyway, so this is the thing about fortune telling targets, guys, and they're not my favorite targets to do. I've done them, but the main driving point, I guess, is really the point here in this talk is about you're going to have targets. You have this aesthetic impact when you get these some targets, and some targets you're bored by. Some targets are very interesting. Some targets you really get pulled into, but some targets, like you almost feel annoyed or pissed off by doing them. And sometimes these are the kind of targets I get those feelings. And sometimes I've had targets like this where I've literally just, I said, you know what? I can't help you because I feel like there's something self-serving here or something. But it's angering my subconscious. And to me, that's a sign of I probably don't want to be part of it. And the more remote viewing you do, the more you'll get to know those very, very, very subtle impressions within yourself. All this stuff, this is why it's so critical to practice and keep remote viewing, because a lot of people that get into this just to teach or just to kind of make money are really shitty viewers, a lot of them. Because if you don't keep kind of like pushing it out, my opinion, it kind of tapers off. So there's going to be targets that you're gonna do that you may feel a certain kind of way about. And as time goes on and you grow into the ability. Oh, so I guess my another point is like, again, don't get wrapped up in the mode of travel of remote viewing. None of that shit makes a difference. I mean, just get something that's consistent. Doesn't matter what it is. It's something you're drawn to. Don't get in this pissing match over the most expensive training or whatever, because as soon as you're done with the classes, unless you're teaching and scamming people, you're not making any money. Or you might make some, but you better be really good. If you're not like as good as me, you're probably going to only make money by teaching or scamming people. So, I mean, there's projects and stuff, but it's not a lot of big money thing. So, just something to keep in mind, guys. As much as I love remote viewing, as much passion I have over it, it's not a tool that solves all problems by any means. It's going to give you all answers. From my experience, we seem to be here to experience life. We could use it as kind of a supplement to help and do things. But again, too, like I did Lynn's talked about this a lot. So I'm going to throw Lynn a bone here. When he talks about police asking a psychic for help to find someone or whatever, because there isn't this like intrinsic, and I don't want to say karma is the word, because it's probably most definitely not the word, but there is these laws of the universe. And sometimes they catch criminals, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they catch or find bodies because of psychics, sometimes they don't. But you may go into a situation where you're trying to, here's a perfect example. You got a family here that wants peace. So they want to hire a psychic to give them peace over the loss of their son or whatever, or their daughter. And the psychic goes in there, starts digging around, and they see all this horrifying stuff about their son or daughter. Now, what they may uncover with that psychic work is their daughter or son who unjustifiably died with is not justified, but they were also wrapped up in a bunch of dark things that the parents never knew about and assumed not know, rather just not know. So say they find the body or they get some more details, but then they find out that their daughter's a prostitute, or their son's dealing drugs or cocaine, and they had no idea about that prior. Okay. And then maybe this criminal that's a part of this ends up getting busted for something completely different down the road. The point is, this is to me, again, this is an information-based system. And you get what it's going to allow you to get a lot of times. A lot of targets that I could dig around, I can get a lot of data out of. There's always the miss factor. People miss targets, but then also there's targets where I could literally, it feels like I'm actively getting pushed out. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I just think it's a part of how this all ties in. There's going to be people that could do a lot of ARV or something and get a lot of success over it. And somebody that's an excellent remote viewer maybe do like other kinds of targets that are really good. My suspicion would be has something to do with their journey overall, why that, less about their ability kind of thing. But I really don't know. I just have to follow my gut and the models that have came before and just kind of work it out best I can. Anything with psychic functioning stuff, remember guys, these are all models. I wouldn't take anything as ingrained in stone. And as much as I love like people like Ingo, and I adore the man and his work, he's brilliant. But I always keep in my mind that these are all models in trying to associate this so we could work a way to work with this in a collective manner. We may never know the exact science of all this. Hopefully we do, but anyone that says this is the method, this is the be all end all method, this is the best method, this is how the reality works, this is actually what's happening in a certainty kind of formation, are dangerous people, because they don't know any more than I do. So anyway, please like, subscribe, and share the content. Hyperlink if you want to donate to the channel, or if you need remote viewing work done, instructions are in there. All right, we'll catch you next time, guys, on L003.